Hello, hello, hello. Peter Vexelman here with Julie. How are you, Julie?
Oh, I am doing good, looking crazy. I've been working my tail off over here at one of my new vacation rental properties.
Oh, so we actually do deals and we actually do our own deals. Well, while we're giving everybody a chance to log on, Julie, here for the next minute or so, talk about this one. How'd you find it?
Actually, I found this property driving for dollars. You want me to show it to you guys?
Yes.
Okay, so imagine this is a lake house on a bayou in Louisiana. This is it's just got one, and excuse me, like I said, I just buying stuff and putting it together. It's 2 bedrooms. It's got a big open floor plan here. It's only 900 square foot. Excuse me, my kitchen is a friggin' disaster because I'm putting new blinds up, gonna change the cabinets, the bedroom, another bathroom. And if you come out here, it's got a humongous, like, screened in porch, and I'm gonna put a outdoor kitchen out here. So people can go on the boat, then they can come out and hang out on the porch. But the beautiful thing about being able to do your own deals, whether you're, looking to wholesale them, fix and flip them, which I do all of that too, but some of these houses I want to come to and stay. So why not make money when I'm not in them? So I've got a cabin going, I've got this one going, but simply, and I talked about this on Tuesday night's webinar, literally I was visited Louisiana 2 months ago. And in 3 days, I put this deal together. Bought it owner finance, and I'm only paying $1,000 a month for the next 15 years, which is out of this world, really. When you think about that, there's no banks, there's no none of any of that included. Now, that's the beauty of being direct to seller, because when you're direct to seller, you can do anything you want to. Because I could have wholesaled this, I could have flipped this house, but Peter, this was just one I wanted to keep for myself, so I could go fishing, hang out with the family. I can't hear you for some reason, brother.
Can you hear me now?
I sure can.
Okay. Technical difficulties. It's interesting to me, Julie, and I'm sure you hear it all the time too. People say, well, what we do doesn't work, or I can't do it because I live in Louisiana, or I live in New York, or I live in California, or it's too late, or I should have done this 5 years ago. And it's amazing, isn't it? This business works. It works as ever, as good as ever. And, literally on a daily basis, we're seeing results ourselves with the deals like you doing yourselves or with our partners. The question is, I always tell people it's the questions they ask. When somebody asks a question, does this work? I always think, well, that's a wrong question. The real question is, are you willing to do the work? That's the real question. And there you were. Weren't you guys on vacation when you did this? Or just passing by or something like that?
Well, we came down for a reunion. And I'll tell you, it's so funny. Like, I should have just stayed on vacation and went to the reunion. But I'll tell you guys this, when you do what you love, it's never work. I find it fun to drive around. I don't know anybody on this call. Do you find it fun to drive around and look for properties? I mean, I think that I like the thrill of finding the deals more than actually doing them. So, and to another point, how people say, so he says, are you going to shoot an alligator? There is an alligator right here, because I'm right here on the bay that hooks to the lake. Scared me to death because I have my dogs out here. But people say, oh, I should have invested, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. You're going to always say that 20 years from now. One of the smartest men I ever met, he was 86 years old, literally owned half of the county that I live in Dahlonega, Peter. And he just went around every year and bought things, bought properties one by one by one. And back then when he was buying them, they were $3,000 and $6,000, for 5 acres. Well, back then that seemed like a lot of money. Well, guess what? He was one of the richest men in that town because he put his money in real estate. He did it all, right? So I always think it's always an opportune time. You just got to be willing to do what others aren't willing to do, and you're going to be just fine. The beautiful thing is this market is cyclical. So when you're in a tough market like this, and you know what you're doing and you're getting deals, man, just wait till it goes down and you have even more opportunities. So for me, now's a really, really good time for you to hone in your skills, because I mean, I see a tsunami coming of deals over the next year, especially with these moratoriums coming up. But enough about me, guys.
No, that was awesome, Julie. I mean, I think that was absolutely awesome. I'm glad we had a couple minutes to let everybody join us here today. But let's get to the topic at hand. What we're going to talk about today is how to build out investor databases, right? And I'll tell you, if you're a real estate investor, the concept of developing investor databases is a critical concept for you to understand. But beyond just the concept of it knowing to do it, you got to know how to do it. I could tell you, like, when, people look back at careers, I've been at this thing for a couple of decades. I would say that's a career, right? A lot of people, when they do something for well over a couple of decades, that's like, you've stuck it out. You've done a lot of good things. You're rocking it out. And I can tell you, as I look back at my couple plus decades into this business, and people say, well, what's the one thing, Pete? What's the one thing in real estate investing that has made you more money than anything else? What's the one thing that you would recommend newer people do? What's the one thing, Pete, if I'm just starting, what should I do? And I tell them a lot of times, well, I give them two answers. Number one, it's all about alignment, right? If you're going to be a real estate investor, you have to learn how to align yourself, because that's the ultimate shortcut. The ultimate shortcut to success is the alignment of from where you are now to where you want to be. And you bridge that gap by aligning yourself with the right people. Very, very critical. And we'll share, Julie and I are going to share here in a little bit about how you guys can actually align yourself with us and level up from what you're doing. But the second thing, when they say, well, what's the nitty gritty? What's the technique? What's the strategy? I always tell them it's not a technique. It's not a strategy. But probably my next most important piece of advice I can give someone, develop relationships with other investors. And the ability to develop relationships with other investors is an absolutely critical component. And a lot of times in this business, people say, well, I need to find my buyer's list. I need to find my investor database list. I got to find people to wholesale to. And it's so true. And I'm going to actually spend a couple minutes with you guys sharing how I spend years developing my internal investor database. And then guys, I'm going to share with you how you can get access to the largest database of investors in the world. Okay. But I tell people the reason that's so important is that it's beyond just being an investor database. Your cash buyers list, here's what most people think. People think, okay, I'm getting into the real estate investing business. I want to do it, let's say, as a wholesaler. I want to wholesale a bunch of deals. So because I want to do it as a wholesaler, I need an investor database. And you do. There's no question. If you're going to do it as a wholesaler, you absolutely need an investor database. But I could tell you that same investor database as a wholesaler, okay, that same investor database as a wholesaler will make you tons and tons and tons of other money utilizing it correctly. So for instance, out of the same database that you're going to wholesale your deals to, right? Out of the same database you're going to wholesale your deals to, you're going to find people to buy your properties. You're going to find people to fund your properties if that's what you need. You're going to find people to bring you potential other properties to do deals with. You're going to find people to teach you other techniques and strategies that you would have otherwise never done, right? You're going to find opportunities that you never even would have thought. So out of my initial investor database that I created or started to create, well over 2 decades ago, out of that database, I have, I could tell you, I could tell you out of that initial investor database, it's what got me to finally do my initial 100 successful deals. Out of that initial database is how I got into condo conversions, which I didn't even know what they were until, I swerved into them. Out of that initial database is how I raised my initial capital. Out of that initial database is how I was able to go beyond the local geography of just Atlanta, Georgia. I could argue to a certain degree out of that initial database is what got me from where I was, which by the way, back then you could just say was zero. I mean, like at that point, I was an absolute zero when I got started a couple of decades ago, to pretty much got me on the way to where I am now, thousands of real estate deals later. So all this to say that your cash buyers list, your database of investors spans way beyond just buyers for your wholesale deals. It spans way beyond that. It spans into everything else I just discussed and many, many other things. So, like I said, I'm going to share with you the ultimate database and how you can get access to the biggest database of investors in the world here in just a minute. But before we get into that, I want to just tell you about some techniques and strategies that, let's say you want to develop your own database, not just to tap into the biggest one, but you actually want to develop your own, which you should, by the way, for all the reasons I just gave you. How would I, like in today's marketplace, how would I go about developing my own investor database? The good thing, here's the good thing. It's easy. I mean, it's a lot easier than most people realize, because the reality of the situation is that investors, which by the way, this is who goes on this investor database. The investors, they want to be known. There's some industries where there's competition among different, businesses, retail shops, storefronts, not in real estate. In real estate, if you were a savvy investor, you want to be known because you want opportunities to be brought to you. Okay. So how do you develop your own investor database wherever you live? Okay. Step number one, and this is the biggest one of all. And by the way, this is the one that could really blow this investor database into, dozens and hundreds and easily thousands and thousands of investors. And that's just simply the internet search engines, right? All you have to do is you get on a Google and you literally Google, find real estate investors. Now, I will give you a little hint, and you will see as we talk about this, ultimately you want a database that spans the globe, because the further away your investor, and if you're, let's say, just wholesaling, the more they'll pay for the deal. So they become a lot more valuable. But in the beginning, I tell people, let's start out with a local investor database, because locally there's a chance for you to build better relationship with them, right? You can go out there, you could see them, you could talk to them, and you could really tap into what it is you're doing and how it is that you could really, really, really help them. Okay. So Google, and what I would do is, I would just write down the key terms that have anything to do with real estate investing, real estate investors, like find real estate investors, invest in real estate. We buy houses, real estate cash buyers, invest in REOs, buy commercial properties, anything like that. And so, because I always encourage people stay local, even having told you, ultimately the big money is made when you're doing this far away. But in the beginning, I do want you to stay local. So to make sure that the investors you're gathering are at the local level, put the name of the city that you live in. So for instance, I would say find real estate investors, Atlanta, Georgia. We buy houses, Atlanta, Georgia. Invest in real estate, Atlanta, Georgia. And you're going to see everyone that has anything to do with that is going to show up. Now, I will also tell you, some people that have nothing to do will show up, right? Because you're looking for investor databases. So when you do these kinds of searches, right, you'll also get a real estate agent that'll show up. You'll also get a mortgage broker that'll potentially show up. So I always tell people, try to screen those out and only include people that have anything to do with either investing or investors. And the information that you want to gather is their contact information and their names. Right, those are the two pieces of advice, things I want. Tom Smith, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's in a perfect case scenario. A lot of times you'll find companies, LLCs. It's all good enough because, in this business, almost everyone incorporates for liability and tax purposes. So you're going to Google as many terms like that. You're going to flip the terms. You're going to toggle the terms. I'll tell you, local real estate auctions, fantastic way to find investors, right? So whenever you just find out when your local foreclosure auctions, as the U.S. gets rolled out. Find out when the local foreclosure auctions take place. Find out when private auctions take place. And literally, I remember in the first couple of years, I would just show up. Right? I would literally just show up. And guess what? Guess who goes to auctions? Like, nobody goes to auctions because they have nothing to do in life, right? People that actually have the ability to buy at auctions go to auctions. So that's a terrific a place. Local auctions, local RIA clubs, real estate investment associations, right? Are a terrific place to find real estate investors, because who goes to local RIA clubs? Real estate investors, of course. Social networking sites like Facebook, LinkedIn. I mean, they're filled with go to Facebook and join all the just type in real estate investor groups, and you're going to see a bunch of them show up. So social networks, REI clubs, Google searches, Yahoo searches. Guys, these are all incredible ways to find investors. So what you want to do is, first, you want to start out with a general investor database, right? You want to build it out to the best of your ability, and you want it to get bigger and bigger. And by the way, you also always want to revisit these sites, right? Because Google searches, as you know, constantly change. REI club memberships always change. So first step is you want to develop these investor databases. Second step, you want to contact them, right? You want to contact them and you want to start building a relationship, okay? You want to start building the relationships with these investors, right? Find out who they are, what they do, what they're about, what they're looking for, what they could offer. Just have general conversations. I used to call them in the first number of years in this business. I would just say, hey, I'm a local investor, Peter Vekselman, always looking to meet and network with other investors. Would you be open to a meeting? And again, the good thing is, in our industry, we do want to network. We do want to get to know each other. We do want to connect with other investors. So I realized it was very easy to get in the door of investors that actually do want to do deals. And again, those relationships. And then, so I built my investor database. I qualified the investor base. And then just, let's say, on my wholesale deals, okay? Guess what happened on my wholesale deals? When the right deal came about, boom, it was just a matter of picking up a couple of phone calls, because I got to know who was on that investor database, right? Then it was just a matter of picking up a couple of phone calls, calling them up, finding out, hey, here's what I got. Are you interested in doing the deals? And I could tell you in the beginning, a ton, like almost 80 to 90% of all the deals I did in the beginning came off this investor databases. But a lot more than that. Out of these investor databases then came relationships that led me into other techniques. Out of these databases came relationships that got me into other strategies. And so I will, as we move on and what we want to talk to you guys about today, I'm going to flip it over to Julie to see if there's anything she wants to point out on the investor databases. I could tell you, your ability and your willingness to do and to build out of your investor databases is actually the most powerful, the most strong thing you could do to progress your business, not from a short-term perspective. You'll see immediate impact, but specifically from a long-term perspective. Having said that, here's the best news of today. Here's the best news of the day. If you become a partner of Julie's and mine, we have access to the largest investor database in the world. And that investor database happens to be the local MLS, right? Well, it's not local, I say local, but the investor database is the ultimate buyer's database is the MLS. right? Because when you have the ability to pre-market your properties on the MLS, especially investor grade properties, guess who's seeing them? Investors all over the world that are then reaching out by making offers, asking questions, and you're compiling all of that information. So one of the huge values of becoming a partner of both Julie's and I is you will literally get access to one of the largest real estate investor bases out there. So I'm doing something unusual here today, Julie. I actually got this pumping through social media, and I just realized once I flip this over to you, they're not going to see me anymore. So I'm actually going to flip the camera over here in a second. I want Julie to see if there's some things that she wants to add. I'm sure she's going to add some things of how important and the value of having these investors in your pocket. I'm going to flip the camera over, but guys, if you're listening to me through social media, that's super duper. If strictly this is for the people on social media, because we may lose connection here. If you want to learn more how you can access our investor database, how you can actually even partner with us and do some deals together, just DM me the word partner and I'll get you some more information. So having said that, I'm going to flip this over here in a second. Julie, what did I miss when it comes to investor databases and the importance of those?
I was muted. Excuse me, rookie move. So, for me, everything that you mentioned is exactly the reason why you should be building a cash buyer database. But I'll tell you, for me, there's one other thing. I was working with one of our partners, and she owns 5 particular deals, and another investor was trying to buy them from her. I like talking to other investors because I like to hear them negotiate with me. Like, if you really listen to everything that everybody has to say, not only is it about making money on your deals, building relationships, but it's a learning curve. Even after doing this for 10 years, I pick up something new every day. So if you want to learn more in this business, just get around more people that do this business, and you'll learn something just from doing that alone. So on top of everything that Peter said, talking to people, going to your local real estate investor association meetings, even if you're not going there to get deals, even if you're not meeting cash buyers, speaking the lingo, just being around people, is you're going to inevitably learn from them. Now, I do have a hack, though, that we didn't talk about, Peter, on how you can use Deal Driven, which is, by the way, guys, for those of you on social media or on this Zoom call, Deal Driven is a proprietary software that we are co-creators of to help find deals. Well, also, it has the capability to find cash buyers. Would anybody like me to show you how to find cash buyers in your area utilizing Deal Driven? If not, I'll move on. But I'll show you right now how to do this. Okay, awesome. But guys, I don't want you to miss the fact that when you work with us here at Partner Driven, because of the way that our contracts are, because of the way that we put up funds, with us being able to do that, what we're able to do is utilize the realtors to double close on these deals. So technically, you don't always need a buyer's database, but it's good to build them. But I'm going to show you how to find these in your area. Okay, so let me share my screen. And we're going to look at Deal Driven real quick. So we're not going to go over everything inside of Deal Driven today, because it would be a 2-hour webinar by itself. Okay, but if you would like to get a 7-day free trial of Deal Driven, you can always go to dealdriven.com. Or if you become one of our partners, guess what? We provide this to you, plus 1,000 skip traces a month, plus the ability to pull cash buyers, plus daily training calls. I can't express to you how important it is to have a database to work off of. It just saves time, right? That's the most valuable resource. So on the front page, I'm going to go straight to search for cash buyers, okay? We're going to put in a city. I'm just going to make up one. Let's do Birmingham. Birmingham, Alabama. I can do a 5-mile search radius around the city center of Birmingham, I could do 20. I'm going to stay at 5 though, around the city center. Now, what you're going to see is everybody that bought a property in cash, that where the property location is within 7 miles inside the city center of Birmingham. I don't know why I keep saying Burlington, but anyway. So when I'm looking at this, right, there are a few of these properties or a few of these cash buyers that are really good cash buyers. And I'm going to show you guys a super hack on how to find them. Okay. I like working with not necessarily big time cash buyers that buy thousands of properties a year, but somebody that buys 6 to 10 deals. So once I go to filters here, I can pick my property type. If I'm looking for a single family home buyer, I'm going to go to single family homes. I'm going to look at my price range. Okay. Maybe I don't want to deal in commercial real estate. So I want to say in Birmingham, I only want to work with investors who have invested between, let's say, 50,000 and what, 300,000. That should get you all of your blue collar working class area plus inside of Birmingham. Okay. Now I can go to property count and saying I want them to at least have done 5 deals. Y'all, isn't this nuts how easy this is to find these? Check this out. You got Bobby Wells here, whose average deal is $544,000. This is a home address. All you have to do is reverse skip trace this and look up Bobby's home address and skip trace Bobby from at his home. Does everybody understand what I'm saying there? When you're looking for cash buyers, you're not looking to skip trace the properties they purchased, because generally they're purchased within inside of an LLC. But there's lots of investors like Mr. David here. He's buying them all in his personal name. Well, it says exactly right here where David lives. So I would just go look up David's personal address, skip trace to find David's phone number and get a hold of him there. Because look, do you guys think that David's a cash buyer? His average deal's around 50,000 and he's done 5 of them. What this tells me right here is that David's probably a buy and hold buyer, because I know the Birmingham market a little bit. He's probably looking at lower end cash flowing properties. Okay. Here's another one. When you see names like Birmingham Jefferson Civic Center, I'm going to skip across that because that's the county purchasing land. You might see schools purchasing land, or the county, or North Point Holding LLC. This is another one. This is where they're putting them in LLCs where you have PO boxes and things. But some of my best finds are going to be ones like this. James Hankins. Do you see this guy? When you know how Peter was saying people that are further away will pay more for properties where you are? Do y'all remember Peter talking about that? If you look at this here right now, these properties are in Birmingham. James bought 9 of them and he lives in California. Do you think James is going to pay more for a property than Tom that lives in Alabama? Yeah. And you've got his personal address right here, so you can look him up. So guys, there's my hack on, there is my hack on how to find some cash buyers in your area. You just have to think everything through, right? Maybe auto reverse the way you're looking at things. Look for these investors that don't have LLCs set up, that maybe they do, but maybe the LLC's out of their house and not out of a registered agent like an attorney. That would be exactly how I would be looking for cash buyers utilizing the Deal Driven software. But that's really all I've got as far as cash buyers go. I hope that helped everyone today. But again, if you're one of our partners, it's kind of a moot point. And you know, the biggest thing, Peter, is a lot of our partners are just getting started. Is there anybody on this call that you feel is kind of just getting started? Give me a hand raise. Give me a yes in the comments. Okay, good. Somebody's going to play along with me today. Thank you, Michelle. So, and Junie and Chris, thank you. The problem when you first get started in this business is this. If you are traditionally doing the wholesale model, you've got to find deals direct to seller, right, Peter? Then you've got to turn around and you've got to find a cash buyer to assign that property to. So when you're very, very new, or even if you've been doing it for a while, you're spending your time on this side and you're spending your time on this side. Meaning finding the deals and finding the cash buyers. Just a question, what do you think makes you the most money? If you were to spend your time wisely, what do you think actually makes you the most money? Great comment. It's definitely going to be finding deals direct to seller. With us and with our partners, what we want you to do is completely focus on finding the deals first. Because I don't want you to become unenchanted with this business, because if you're spending less time finding the deals because you're looking for cash buyers, you could be months and months and months of spinning your wheels. The beautiful thing with working with Peter and I here at Partner Driven is you focus your time on the things that make you money. I want to say this again. You spend your time on the things that make you money, because there's one thing that is going to really motivate you in this business, and that's closing your first deal or your second or your third deal, right? When you close a deal, that gives you confidence that you cannot buy. I'm serious. You can't buy training for confidence. You can't just make yourself confident, but when you understand how to complete a deal from start to finish, right? It gives you confidence to keep going. And that's what I feel we've done here at Partner Driven. Got my t-shirt on today. Is that we give you all of the tools that are necessary to go out and find these deals. Once you find the deals, we always talk about you find it, we fund it, we split the profits. Guys, there's a lot of work between you finding it and closing on that deal. A lot of work. That's why we here at Partner Driven utilize our back office, like Miss Mary and Miss Laura, to do a lot of the due diligence to help find the buyers, to help send the contract into escrow, to make sure there's no liens, to do all of these things. Because our main goal is just for you to do more deals. I'm not going to be selfish with letting you know what our intentions are. Not only do we want to show you how to do deals and show you this business, but did you hear the part where we fund it and we split profits 50-50? If it's okay with you guys, I want to be clear. We want you to be successful, people that are in our partner program, because if you do more deals, we make more money, right? We literally put our money where our mouth is, and we, invest right back into people with our software like Deal Driven. Guys, you guys haven't even really seen a demo yet on Deal Engine. And I know Kristen's on this call. I really think we should do that next week and show individuals our proprietary CRM software, so that once you take this information that you've received from Deal Driven, or even Driving for Dollars or wherever, and you place this into your CRM system, you're going to put this information in there. Then the system will automatically follow up with the sellers by sending them an email, by sending them text messages, by calling them. It's literally like you're one person in your business. It's like hiring 3 assistants, one to do email, one to text, and one to leave voicemails. We do not charge extra money to our partners for this software, even though we pay a great deal of money for this. Again, that's just one more value that Partner Driven has to offer, because we're not just a coaching company. We're a partner with people. We don't have students, we have partners. My question to you here today is, you ready to close some deals? You ready to make this happen? You ready to get off the fence with that? If you are, today's the day. We have availability to take on some more partners right now. And you know what's nuts, Peter? Did you know that you can join our partner program for like $300 to $500 a month?
Yeah, crazy. I mean, and guys, this is part of the reason we are now going to be committing to doing these pop-ups. Is we want to do a couple of them a week minimum. We want to teach you, but plus we want to share with you what exactly it means to partner with us at Partner Driven. And we want to share with you something really, really cool that's taking place here, Partner Driven, in the fact that we now have actually a third party that'll give you the money, okay? Give you the money to join Partner Driven. So let me just take a minute or two and just kind of review what Julie was talking about. I mean, if you're not a partner yet, you want to do real estate deals, you live in the United States, you're coachable, you want to get into real estate investing, you want to level up in life, and you want to just really get to those next levels, here's what you get by being one of our partners. Number one, you get unlimited coaching. And when I say unlimited, it's pretty much unlimited. We do what we do, Julie and I did right here. We do it on a daily basis with our partners. We do it multiple times on some days. And we do it in group formats. We also do it individual formats. It is just incredible how we literally over deliver on the partner side. So if you want to be coached and mentored, make sure that the partner model is where you join, because we're gonna I hate to say it, I know it sounds kind of crude, we're gonna coach the crap out of you to the next level, okay? When it comes to real estate investing. Number two, and by the way, if somebody on this call like Kristen can text me the phone number that people could call if they're ready to get started. Number two, we're going to generate leads for you. In this business, lead flow is absolutely critical. Basically, finding deals is absolutely critical. And we know how important that is. So we will actually, at Partner Driven, start generating leads for you to get to those next levels. Okay. We're going to provide you technology. Julie's already shared that with you. And by the way, you need technology. If you want to be successful in the real estate business in today's marketplace, you need to have access.
Peter, I just showed one tiny little part of that technology. I mean, a tiny little part of it.
Yep. But it's a powerful part. And in A, it's powerful. B, Julie is exactly right. That's not even the tip of the iceberg of what's possible with our technology for our partners. Next, once we identify the local partner, once we identify the deal with the local partner, I'm going to provide 100% of the capital. That's right. So if you become one of our partners, you don't have to even spend $1 out of pocket. That's all part of our responsibility. If it needs any kind of rehab work, we're going to help you with there. And then we put it in the market, sell it, split the profits down the middle, 50-50. And that right there is the partner-driven model. We coach you, we generate leads for you, we provide you technology, we give you all the capital to close on deals. When the deals are closed, we do whatever needs to be done with them. Then we sell them and split the profits. We're looking for more partners to do deals with. We're doing more deals with than we ever have with partners. And we are actively in the hunt to do more deals with our partners. Now, there's a couple of ways to join our partnership program. You know, one is just to prepay the whole fee up front, which is $15,000. If you do that, you get a 10% discount. Two, we can actually do some internal financing for you. Okay. Literally, we can finance the fee. Okay. We could finance that fee for you. And right now we're financing them at somewhere between $2,000 to $2,500 a month until you get to that $15,000. Third option, which Julie and I are going to talk about in a minute, is we actually have a third-party source that'll give you that whole $15,000, and you're only going to pay them about $250 to $300 a month. So everybody falls into their different categories. You know, if you're gonna do self-financing and you have the initial fee, you definitely want to get a hold of us. We'll get you rolling. By the way, if you're listening to me on social media, I see a lot of questions being brought up. The best thing to do is just DM me the word partner. Okay, DM me the word partner. But again, remember, you got to be US bound. You got to be coachable. You got to be a hustler. You got to be wanting to level up, and you got to want to do it through the real estate investing business. And if you qualify with all of those, then DM me the word partner. Julie, talk a little bit about what now for partners, in life, there's never the end, right? You never get to that ultimate pinnacle and you're like, well, I guess this is all I can do. This is all I get. Well, the same thing with us as at the partner driven. We actually have an ability for our partners to level up. And the way that happens is they go to PD Max level. And PD Max is just basically what's taken me from where I was, 10 plus years ago, kind of just a re-emerging real estate investor, not much going for me. I met Julie, and she pretty much took over the running of my company, in essence, became my CEO. And then we had a meteoric ride together. Since then, thousands of deals, tons of states across the United States. And so with Partner Driven Max is where Julie actually it's everything you get a partner driven, plus Julie literally steps in and becomes your CEO. And she basically starts running your company for a number of months. And when she runs it, she brings on a personal caller, and she'll get into that here in a minute. But the point is this: if you want to have the kind of ride I had in this business, where I went to literally from zero to hero, okay, where Julie became my, in essence, CEO, and ran everything for me. She will, in essence, then become your CEO and run everything for you. Then Julie is going to talk a little bit about specifically what it means when you go to PD Max level and some costs. And again, at the end, we're going to finish off by providing you guys a third-party solution that'll actually give you the ability to join both of these programs, or one of these programs, and have a third party prepay for it. All right, Julie, let's talk a little bit about PD Max.
Okay, well, if it's okay with everybody, I do want to go over the funding and kind of explain that, and then we'll go into PD Max, if that's cool. So, for a lot of you out there, when you hear, and I get it, I've been there. You hear numbers like 15,000. You're going to hear numbers from me of like from 45 to 65,000. Kind of hits you in the stomach a little bit, right? That's definitely not chump change. But the fact that we will finance your deals and split profits. Do you know just to join our program is less money than it costs to put down for a loan on a house to do a deal yourself? Along with having all of the coaching, all of the mentoring, all the software that we provide. But with this financing that Peter was talking about and that I'm talking about with you right now, it's not just about lower monthly payment. It's not about that. What it is, have any of you ever heard the term OPM? It's other people's money. Okay? This company approved our company, Partner Driven, the ability to have people that want to join our program. Their private investors would lend money. They do that because they believe in what we're doing and they saw the success of others. So they vouch to loan money to you guys to do this as a valid business venture. Now, yes, it'll get your payments down lower than self-doing it or putting all the money down up front. But let me tell you what it really does. What it really does is it allows you time to focus on your business. It allows you time to take a little bit of pressure off so that you can build your business the right way. Believe me, I know how it is. I've been as far at the bottom as you could go before. I know what 2,000 a month is. I know what 15,000 is. I know what 45,000 is. What this does is buy yourself more time. Because I know if you're on this call right now and you're looking to get into, real estate investing, it's going to take time. It's going to take investing in yourself. I can't even tell you how much money I've invested in myself over the years. I really stopped counting. Because if I ever wanted to learn something, I went and hired the best to teach me. Because I don't have time or money to lose. Learning things on your own or YouTubing everything will cost you more money than it's going to ever cost you to hire someone that's done it before. Now, here is the financing. Kristen, do you have the link for us right now? I'm going to go over, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the terms with you guys. And also, Peter, can you, well, I don't know if you could do that, put that inside of your chats there in social media, but I want everybody to see this link. Do you have a 640 credit score? Do you make at least 40,000 a year? If you're W-2'd, have you worked at the same job for 1 year? Generally, if you meet that criteria, you will be able to get this financing. If you're self-employed, you must have 2 years tax returns and make at least 40,000 a year. But I want to show you just how easy it is to apply. And listen, don't worry, this is just a soft pull. So when you fill out this application, it's not like you're over here dinging your credit, making your credit score go down. This is absolutely a soft pull. So you have nothing left to lose by checking this out. So I'm just going to walk through it with you. So I want to make sure everybody's had time here. So once you click this link, right, guys, you're just going to click this link. All you're going to need to do is go through and click major purpose, major purchase. Simple. Then you want to know, well, how much would you like to borrow? Well, I'll be talking about Partner Driven Max shortly. But if you want to work with me one-on-one, which by the way, when you work with me one-on-one, it's more than just becoming a CEO. We're going to start your business from the very beginning. That means we're going to set up an LLC correctly. That means we're going to have your logos created, your website created, your social media channels created. Isn't that an awesome value? We're going to make sure that's congruent. A lot of people, when you get into this business, you do this business when you have time to do this business. So this week I might create a logo for this, or this week my website might look like this. I want you to have a logo in your business model or something you can be proud of. I'm proud to wear the logo that was created for our company. And it's the same across the board. What that does is that creates trust among sellers. When you got your business together with just the way that it looks, what that does is it's congruency. It builds trust. That's what we want for you. So we're going to have someone on our team that created all of our logos, all of our websites, build yours out for you. I'm going to also pull all of your leads for you. I'll go ahead and toot my own horn a little bit. I know what motivated sellers are. I know exactly where to pull these leads. I know who are the best people to call and how to get those leads. I'm going to pull them for you because I don't want to waste time. My entire goal, if you're working with me one-on-one at Partner Driven Max, is for you to close deals as quickly as possible. And if your goal is to move into this business full-time, this is a great option for you because you get an entire business set up for you. Now, once we pull the leads, we're going to set up your custom CRM system. This custom CRM system, all of your websites, your emails, your phone numbers are all going to attach to this, along with the leads that we're going to pull for you. Those leads will be entered into that CRM system. We'll set up all of the follow-up for you. I and my team will hire and train a US-based employee on your behalf. That's a big deal to me. I'm not going to knock VAs. I'm not going to get into that discussion. But under my personal experience, hiring local American-based callers to build relationships with your seller goes a long way. A lot further than someone from another country that you hear on the other line. Not knocking them, But for me, this has always worked better. So that every day, my goal for you is to have at least one seller that raises their hand and says that they want to sell their property. It takes going through a lot of calls to make that happen. So when I talked earlier today about doing things that make you money, doing things that make you money all boil down to this: making offers. The more offers you make, the more appointments you go on, the more deals you will do. You're not going to make any money not making offers. What I want to do is put you in a place to where you can make offers as often as possible, and often as possible. And I'll be there along with my entire staff. And I'm definitely not short staffed. I have some of the best people in this industry to work for you. I'm taking my best people that close my deals. I don't play and say I do deals. I'm here in a t-shirt and shorts, doing this because I want to. We do deals with our partners every day. If this sounds like something that you would like, you've got to be very, very serious, because I don't have time to take something like this very slowly. I can work with you between 45,000 and 65,000, depending on the amount of time that you and I and Peter work together. And you don't just have access to me, you have access to Peter as well, right? And my entire goal every day when I wake up, when I work with my partners, is to make money and get them into their business full time. And I'll tell you, I started this program 3 months ago. My first clients just retired last Thursday. That's nuts. My second client has already closed more deals than she ever paid. I have more and more and more people on their way to that goal. So when you're here in this product, and when you're looking here, and please do not apply to work with me at Partner Driven Max unless you're serious, okay? Because we're gonna go, I don't know how else to say it, balls to the wall is what we will do. So if you're interested in Partner Driven, which by the way is an absolutely great program, Peter and I are the co-creators of it. You're doing a lot of this on your own, which is great. And then I would apply for 15,000 or a couple thousand more. If you're interested just to see if Partner Driven Max might be for you, your credit scores are going to need to be a little bit higher to borrow between 45 and 65,000. Go ahead and raise the amount that you want to borrow there if you're interested in that. I do have coming up here in a week and a half, I have one slot available for PD for Partner Driven Max, and a couple weeks after that, I have another spot available. Because we want to make sure we talk and that we'd be a good fit for each other. So you're just going to determine here what you want your personal loan. How much would you like to borrow? And guys, let me say this again. This is a soft pull. This will not show up on your credit report as a ding to your credit. For me, that's super important. I hate hard pulls on my credit. That's like when you go get a car or you go to Macy's and they're like, hey, get one of my credit cards and you get 10% off. I'm joking, but those stores get me every time. But they do hit you on the hard pulls. Now, simple. What's your name? What's your first and last name? What's your cell phone number? Please don't put a landline here, because don't put your landline here, because if you do, they won't be able to text you back and forth. Okay, so you'll want to put your cell phone number here, your date of birth, your social security number, your zip code, your address. How long have you lived at this address? Do you own it outright? Do you own it with a mortgage? Are you renting, or other? What's your monthly rent or mortgage amount? Well, what's the estimated credit? Excellent, good, or fair? Your employment status, and what's your yearly pre-tax income? How often do you get paid? Every week, bi-weekly, twice a month, monthly? Or what's your payroll type? Simply acknowledge and consent, and you will be on your way to hearing an offer immediately from this company, letting you know if you qualify for one of these loans or not. So I do have a few minutes to take some questions. It's going to be a little bit different because this is a webinar instead of a meeting. So on the bottom of your screen, there's a little button down there that says raise hand. Raise hand. If you raise your hand, I can call you up to speak. Once I click the button to call you to speak, you're simply just going to unmute yourself. Once you've done so, you will be live with Peter and I. Okay? So, Junie, I know you have your hand up. I'm gonna see if you want to unmute yourself and ask any questions. We're here about real estate related. I guess anything related, and I'll answer it to the best of my ability.
Yes. Hi, Julie, and hi, Peter. I
Hey.
started with this program just recently, but I really love it because of
Yay.
what I see, what you guys doing and everything. I start with the pay the 200 and then pay the whatever I have to pay monthly. But the thing is this, I was wondering, when you start like this, can you go different levels? Because I see you said you have different levels that you could go to the 45 of the 60. When you're in, can you go up when you're ready? Or you have to, start just where you are when you just come in? I don't know if that makes sense.
No,
but I love
definitely
it,
makes sense.
Okay.
It makes sense to me. So here's my answer to that.
Okay.
What I would really like for you to do is call this number 770-746-8585.
Let me write.
And then one of my people will schedule a call with you and I.
Okay. Can you give me the number again?
Yep. 770
774
6
mm-hmm.
8585.
8585. Thank you.
Yeah. And the reason I want to talk to you, Junie, because I want to make sure it's a good fit for you, and I never want someone to do something they shouldn't do yet.
Okay.
So talk with them. They'll schedule a call with me, and I'd like to just get on the phone with you and make sure we're a good fit, if that's okay.
Okay.
Because I love working with other women in real estate. So I do. I just want to, make sure I can truly help you. But call that number, talk to them, and let's, move forward on that. But I mean, I would love to have a conversation with you if this would be a perfect fit for you.
Okay, Julie. Thank you. You're a sweetheart. God bless you. And Peter.
Yes. Hey, I love your name, by the way.
Okay,
it's
thanks.
So close to mine.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All right, Miss Lori Bruns. If you would just unmute yourself, dear.
Okay, so I am your real basic. I have no clue what you all are talking about. I talked to Peter for about 2.5 hot seconds. So once you buy the investment property, then what?
Okay, so once you find a property, right, we're going to work mostly short-term investments with you, Lori. So once you find a property and place it under contract, we're going to place it under contract at a certain price. Okay. Then we're going to locate a buyer that's going to pay a higher price. Then you will make the money in the middle, the difference between what you bought it for to what you sold it for.
So is this another term called like flipping in a way?
Well, technically that's called wholesaling. Flipping, we do flipping houses as well, which is just like you see on HGTV. I'm sure you've watched some of those shows where you buy the property, you renovate the property, and then you resell it.
Okay, so basically what I'm understanding, just to get clarification, I find the property, I buy the property, I resell it in a short amount of time for 10 to 15% more, finding a buyer to do that.
Yes, ma'am. And what you're gonna love about this, Lori, you found the buyer before you ever close on the property to start with. And you could keep yourself muted. I would love to answer any questions, okay? So inside of the contract that you place, Lori, with the seller, there's an inspection period in there. That's the time in which you have to procure another buyer. Our contract allows us the right to pre-market the property through any broker's choosing. So while I have the property under contract, I might be looking for another seller, depending on the deal, another buyer, maybe another investor. I already have a higher price offer on that same house before I ever buy it to start with. So the same day or within a day, you're buying it and you're selling it at a higher price.
Okay.
So your average deal like that's going to be between $7,500 and I'd say about $10,000. You're 50% of the profit per every deal you do.
Okay.
Now, if
And-
we were to buy, fix, and sell it, that's a lot more work, right?
Correct. And that's not what I was interested in.
Well, I'll tell you right now, we're making as much money doing wholesales or wholesale deals. Wholetailing is different than wholesaling because you actually have to close on those and do a double close like I was talking about. I don't want to get the terms, mixed up here, but this is always, that's quick money. You're going to close that deal within 35 days. So the more you have of those, the more money you make.
Okay.
But that's the beauty of partner driven, because with someone like you that's very new, and by the way, we all were new at some point, right? This is what we teach literally every day. And every day, Monday through Friday, 12 hours a day, we have master coaches you could schedule a call with. Because again, because we split profits, Lori, I want you to know everything, right? So we're going to teach you the deal driven. You're going to get that. We're going to also set you up with that deal engine and get your marketing going.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, but if you would like to, talk to us a little bit more at 770-746-8585, and you wanted to talk to me personally, they can get you in touch with me as well.
Okay. Very cool. Thank you, Julie. I appreciate that.
Yes, Miss Lori. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Again, if we have any more questions, just raise your Zoom hand and Peter and I will bring you on live.
Yeah, and we'll see if we have another question or so. But remember, guys, here's a summary of what took place today. The importance of developing investor databases, absolutely critical. Chances are you're not doing enough. And we gave you some legitimate strategies to really, really build one out and how to utilize it, how to tap into it, what to say, how to build relationships. We then shared with you a very simple fact that if we happen to partner together, we'll give you access. All of our deals will get access to the largest investor database in the world through realtors, and that is called the MLS, and that is just amazing what we're doing with it. Next, we showed you that if you do want to become a real estate investor, we'd love the opportunity for you to partner with us. You get coached, mentored, trained, lead gen, you get unlimited capital from us. We close them, split the profits down the middle. And then we give you the next option to join Partner Driven Max. That's really mostly for people that already are in Partner Driven. If you want to level up and get to those next levels, we gave you a basic pricing structure for each one. And then Julie said, hey guys, if you qualify, got some minimum credit scores, minimum job requirements, we actually even have a third-party lending source that'll give you the money to join either Partner Driven or Partner Driven Max. Having said all this, if you just want to call right now, our number here, we have a couple team members on standby. They'll walk you through all of this. And that number is, that number is actually on your chat. It's 770-746-8585, 770-746-8585. So Julie, I think we did a good job. I think we summarized things. We're going to come back, do these much, much, much more often because we know people are getting a ton of value out of this. Anything you want to say in conclusion?
Yes, I want to take one more question if that's okay, but I'm going to do something I've never done before. So listen up, guys. This I will do at no charge. For those of you that want to learn more about Partner Driven or Partner Driven Max, if you call that number, I will do a 30-minute strategy session with you. The person on the other end will hook up with me, and I'll do a 30-minute strategy session with you in your market. I've done a little over 1,700 deals across the nation. So I do not mind to help anybody. This business changed my life, so I would really love to do that. So if you call that number, schedule it with me. I do not mind to do that strategy session with you. And I'm going to take the last question, which is Ivan. If you will, just unmute yourself, Ivan.
Hi, is okay?
Hey, yeah.
Hi.
Hey,
What is
you have a question, hon?
Yeah, and yeah, because I live in Europe, in the Netherlands, but I just wonder how can I apply this to here? What you are saying?
Well, the thing, I mean, to be honest, I don't know the rules and regulations of real estate in the Netherlands. Okay. So if you were going to apply this, it would have to be here in America, and you would need boots on the ground.
Yeah,
Actually, one of my good friends is from the Netherlands, and she lives in California. And when she moved here, I taught her how to do real estate out there.
Okay.
Mhm.
Because here
So
here the market is fucking crazy in this country. I don't know what's going on here, but I think I said to Peter in a message I sent to him that any house here goes is sold for the price they ask for. It goes, some people is willing to pay over between 12 and 20% of the asking price. All the houses are sold way over the asking price, all of them.
you know, it's like that here too right now.
Also,
Oh yeah, absolutely it is. The market is nuts here. However, I don't see that's going to happen for very much longer because our government put a moratorium on foreclosures that's supposed to end the end of this month unless the government pushes it back again. So essentially you're just stacking up problems, you know, and it's like a Jenga board. Eventually
yeah,
something's going to pull out, you know.
no, this
And I would love to help you there, but I wouldn't want to give advice on something on somewhere that I don't know what I'm doing, you know.
yeah, but this is insane. It has to collapse at some point. This.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to look for a house because now, unfortunately, the mother of my child and I we just broke now. But
Yeah.
it's impossible to find something affordable for living.
It
I have
is.
to
It
go
is. Why
or
don't
to a
you look
shit.
up the owner finance laws and subject to their existing mortgage laws inside of inside in there in the Netherlands? Sometimes you can just take over somebody's mortgage payment or buy an owner finance.
Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, I think I don't know how to do that.
Just a thought.
Who should I ask to check that?
I don't know because I don't know any rules in
No.
the Netherlands.
No, I mean, but when you want to know this kind of information, who the people you ask these questions?
I would probably contact a real estate attorney there.
Okay.
But I would assume the same principles exist as far as locating the sellers. No matter really to me what country you're in, as long as you work direct to seller, not through real estate brokers and things, you'll be able to find better deals, Ivan. But I wish you all the best. I wish I had more resources for you. I just don't. But I do know I want to visit there really soon because I've heard a lot about the food and how nice people are.
The food is not so great. The typical Dutch is not so great.
Well,
But,
I don't know. She cooks food for me and it's wonderful.
no, but there are a lot of nice restaurants and yeah, but the typical Dutch food is not It's not a big deal, but the restaurants, they know they have a really good places to go.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Ivan, thank you so much for joining today. You know, everything, I know everything will get better for you. Good luck on your home search there, dear.
Thank you.
But yes, no problem, no problem. Well, guys, I've got to let you go. I'm in the middle of building a fence and my husband needs me to hold something. So
Thanks, guys. We enjoyed it. Talk to you soon.
yeah, and if you want to book that strategy
Bye.
session, just give me a call to the number. Peace.
Peace. Thank you. God bless. Bye-bye.
I like that option because you have access to the funds if you need it.